This is Hans Martinius Andreas Jacobsen. He is born August 3rd, 1895, in Copenhagen, Denmark. He is age 20 and enlisting to fight for the Canadian Expeditionary Force. Little does he know, this is the start of a long journey. Hans is sent off to Europe with very few to little belongings. When he gets his kit, one of the most valuable belongings that he has with him is his new helmet. This helmet is made with leather and steel, making it one of the most valuable belongings that they will have on this journey. And this being the same for so many soldiers. He trained until he was ready for service. This is when Hans got to experience what hundreds of thousands of other Canadians are experiencing. Battle of Messines, June 7th, 1917. This is the start of the first major battle that Hans will participate in. Along with Hans, many fellow soldiers will be under heavy artillery fire, some possibly saved by their helmets that are given to them. These soldiers have studied a replica of Messines behind their lines. The British Empire knew more about this battlefield than the Germans, and it was time. In the next few minutes, several battalions will rush the southern part of the ridge and Messines village. Little did they know, landmines wait for them. It was time for Hans' battalion to attack. The 47th and 23rd Battalion and Hans' battalion make up the left defensive flank of the attack. Advancing onto the ridge, constantly under fire and being bombarded by debris and shrapnel from the artillery and landmines, many people died and many people survived. And a group of people, possibly saved by their helmets. Without them, some people possibly could have taken several head injuries or killed. Finally, the other battalions make their push. The British Empire gets the vantage point on the hill. 24,562 British troops fell in this battle, landmines and shrapnel bullets taking most of their lives. While looking back on what Hans and his fellow army members did in those 7 days, many people think that the losses outweigh the victory. Hans is later decommissioned because he has a serious sickness. This marks the end of his journey. While his journey ends early, his battalion finishes strong, and plays a decent-sized role in winning the battles they are in. This leads us to what this helmet represents, and why it is important to you. This helmet represents bravery, courage, sacrifice. Because when the soldiers put on this helmet, they knew they were putting themselves in harm's way. They knew that they were going over and might never come back. Even if the helmet saves them once, it might not a second time. Quote, Prime Minister Sir Robert Borden led a successful and historic fight for separate Dominion representation at the Peace Conference. Its separate signature on the treaty. He believed passionately that Canada, with over 60,000 dead in the war, had paid the price of such recognition. End quote. A good portion of the 60,000 people that have died have put on this helmet, knowing that it could mean never coming back home. These soldiers sacrificed themselves. While the Treaty of Versailles was the first major step to Canada becoming an independent country, Canada did not get to sign itself. Instead, Canada's name was put under brackets, under the British Empire name, despite what Prime Minister Robert Borden said. This is where it all comes to end, but the journey of Canadian independence has just started.